Audio, video, everything is fine. Upasika.
Yes, Guruji, everything is fine. I have started the stream, Guruji.
Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itipiso bhagavarahang samma sambuddho vidyacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattadeva manusanang buddho bhagavati namo tassa samma sambuddhassa echa buddha atita cha echa buddha anagata pachupanna cha ye buddha ahang vandami sabbada Nati me sarananganyang buddho me saranang varang yetena satchavajjena hotu me jayamangalam uttamangena vandehang padapanso varuttamang buddheyo kalito doso buddho kamatutang mama buddhang yava nibbana pariyantang saranang gacchami swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko Ehipassiko apanayako pachatang veditabbo vinnohiti namo tassaniyanika sadammasa echa dhamma atita cha echa dhamma anagata pachupanna cha ye dhamma ahang vandami sabbada nati me saranang anyang dhammo me saranang varang yetena satchavajjena hotu me jayamangalam uttamangena vandehang dhamman chati viduttamang Dhammeyo kalito doso dhammo kamatutang mama dhammang yava nibbana pariyantang saranang gacchami supatipanno bhagavato savaka sango ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sango nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sango samichi patipanno bhagavato savaka sango edidang chattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala Esa bhagavato savaka sango ahuneyo pahuneyo dakkineyo anjali karaniyo anuttarang punyaketang lokasati namo tassa atta arya puggala mahasangasa echa sangha atita cha echa sangha anagata pachupanna cha ye sangha ahang vandami sabbada Nati me saranang anyang sango me saranang varang yetena satchavajjena hotu me jayamangalam uttamangena vandehang sangam chati viduttamang sangeyo kalito doso sango kamatutang mama sangam yava nibbana pariyantang saranang gacchami sadhu 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 So today's topic is about this jealousy, jealousy and possessiveness. In Pali language, it's called Issa and Macharya. In Indian languages, you can say Irsha and Matsarya. Unlike hatred, unlike anger, this Issa and Macharya, they are like, they can't be like say seen with the person who is having it, but they are more dangerous. They are like more say higher defilements, deeper defilements, and more intense defilements when compared to anger, when compared to hatred, when compared to greed, when compared to so many other defilements that we often discuss. This jealousy and this possessiveness they are more intense, they're more deeper, they're more hidden, they're more non-expressive. So understanding them, the very idea of understanding these defilements is to come out of them, is to handle them, not simply to have some intellectual understanding of these things, but to penetrate into its characteristic, its function, its proximate cause, its manifestation. All these things, when you start learning, when you start understanding correctly, intellectually, it's not like intellectually means like it's like once you start intellectually knowing this, then you start experiencing how it is getting rid of from your heart and mind. So in that way, one need not think that simply thinking about these defilements, these negative, unwholesome things, it will make us more unwholesome. No. With right view, with equanimous mind, with a precisive, with pragmatic mind, when you start knowing these things, then you can come out of these things. Many people, many religious people especially, they hesitate to discuss about defilements. They hesitate to discuss about the suffering. They want to be always intoxicated by the so-called positive. They want to be intoxicated by so-called protection from some divinity, almighty, or something. Only positive side of the life, if you keep on discussing, it will not help you to to correctly handle it. To handle something correctly, you should know the both sides. The realistic approach should be there. You should know what is the benefit of this, what is the problem of this. In the same way, in the mind there are positive qualities. In the mind there are negative qualities. So what are the negative qualities? What are the positive qualities? These things one should be very clear. If you are not very clear with these things, if you don't have that realistic approach to your own mind, realistic approach to your own defilements, simply trying to ignore them, trying to avoid them, trying to hide them, you will not conquer them, you will not come out of them. You have to correctly know them. Knowing is liberation. Correctly knowing is liberation. That aspect, that angle is like somehow they don't try to highlight it in many religions. The aspect of knowing, but that is very much highlighted by Buddha. Buddha wanted to know these things, whether it is defilements, whether it is strengths, whether it is weaknesses, whether it is like positivities or negativities. You should know them. There is no harm in knowing. If the world is struggling to know some unnecessary things, some nonsense things also, spending a lot of time, energy, resources in knowing some unnecessary things, the world is so busy. What's wrong in knowing something which is very, very useful for you? Like knowing these defilements, knowing the strengths of the mind. It will liberate you. It will make you to come out of this kind of attachments of both positivities and negativities. And what is wrong in knowing it? So because of that reason, with that intention, with that approach, we are going to learn all these things, not with an idea of, say, simply getting trapped into these negative things by discussing them. Keep worrying, keep multiplying the negativities. No, that is not the approach. Knowing these negativities, to come out of these negativities, that is the intention, that is the objective of discussing all these things. So those who are new to our approach, just I gave a few minutes introduction of why these so-called defilements we are discussing. Not to get carried away in those defilements, or not to get messed up with those defilements. It is to correctly understand them, how they originate, what is their manifestation, what is their characteristic, what is their proximate cause, what is their function. If these things you understand, then coming out of it becomes very easy. It will become a child's play. The whole world is stuck with one of these defilements and they completely spoil their life. Jealousy only, if it predominates your mind, completely occupies your mind, then you can't do anything in the life. Only those jealous thoughts will completely destroy your mind and body, will affect your health also. But if you correctly, with right view, with the right approach, if you start knowing them, it will liberate you. You can come out of these things. Because of that reason, we are discussing all these things. Even the so-called defilements also. Just like this Issa and Acharya, jealousy and possessiveness. Actually, now the meaning of jealousy is slightly changed, or it's changing. It's not just like your envy. Many people, they think that enviousness or envy is synonym to jealousy. but there is some slight difference between enviousness and this jealousy. Issa means, to say correctly, translate it into English, envy is better translation, because jealousy is like, the meaning of jealousy is slightly changed nowadays. Jealousy, of course, in general, the meaning is like, if somebody is having something, you don't have that particular thing, but you wish to have it, but you are not getting it, you are not having it, you will not going to get it also, or you may get it in the future, but still you have a feeling that he is having or she is having, but I don't have anything. Generally, it is a materialistic things they say, but even the non-materialistic things, like people are appreciating somebody, they are not appreciating me. People are prizing some quality of a person, his intelligence, his hard work or something, I'm not having it. Then I start feeling jealous of that person. Not just he is wealthy, I'm not wealthy, not just because of these materialistic things, even some qualities, even some appreciation, even some ego related things. If somebody is beautiful, attractive, I'm not, then I start feeling a jealousy towards that other person. That the point here is, I don't have, others are having it, that I can't bear it, that I can't appreciate it, because my holding onto myself is so much that it's other person's having it, so what? I don't have. That's why I start thinking about it. I start judging about it. One can start judging also. So unknowingly, the hatefulness, the irritation, the grudgefulness may start in the heart and mind. Let us say in the mind. Generally, we don't use the word heart, but it's related to the feelings, the feeling component of the mind. Sometimes I use this heart also, because many of our audience are familiar with the heart and the feelings of the heart, rather than the mind and the feelings of the mind. So in that way, this jealousy is like, it's like comparing, I don't have, he has, that kind of comparison. It starts with comparison, and then you start say feeling low that you don't have, and you start seeing the other persons they're having, and then you start thinking that you start say hyping your I-ness and minus, and then you start say worrying, start grudging, start becoming upset with the other person, start avoiding, start say hating also, unknowingly. He may be your good friend, but still you may be jealous of him, jealous of her or him. So now, what is that slightly changed version of jealousy? Now, jealousy we can use, of course. It's not nowadays, I think, that is the actual meaning, that is the meaning of jealousy. Like if somebody is like, one third person is involved, you and some other person, let us say the other person, having some good close friendship or some other kind of relation. But when the other person comes and he is trying to say take attention from your friend with whom you are very close, then you become jealous of that third person also. Not just with your friend. Maybe you may not be jealous with your friend, but you may be jealous with the person who is trying to grab the attention of your friend, trying to say take more time and more love and concern from your friend, and you feel insecure. That feeling of insecurity, that your friendship with your friend, it's being lost because of the intervention of the third person, then you may become jealous of that third person. So in that way, this jealousy may be towards the third person. Many times it is towards the third person. There also we use the word jealousy. But here in this discussion, in this word issa, it is mainly with the second person only. The person with whom you are competing, with whom you are judging, with whom you are comparing. And then you are not in a position to give up your I-ness and my-ness, and you want to have it for yourself only. You are not in a position to appreciate others' quality, others' possessions. Then you start developing this kind of enviousness. There, the appropriate word is enviousness or envy. You become envious of that person, though he may be your friend, very good friend also. They may be your husband or wife, your say lover or whoever it may be, your father, your mother, your sister. You may become envious. Of course, envy is there in all relations. It is very much there, but it should not cross some limits. Then it becomes a defilement. Then it affects you, your relation with other people. And there should be some let go of some small levels of enviousness. Then the things will move in the world. But many times it will accumulate and it will become a bigger defilement. And that is actually we are going to discuss in this today's topic, is about this envy. It's not exactly this kind of jealousy, the jealousy towards the third person, that we are not much bothered. Now we are actually more interested in comparison, in judging, and then not giving up your ego. You are so strongly attached to your ego, but you badly need that particular possession, particular quality that other person is having, but you are not in a position to achieve it. Then whatever feeling that you develop in your mind towards that person, that grudgefulness, that hatefulness, that irritability, that upset feeling towards that person and his possessions. And that is what is enviousness, that is what is envy, that is what is issa. Irsha is issa in Pali language. So before going into this this Issa and Matsarya, or Issa and Macharya, little more deeply, we will see the what other religions and what this psychologists they talk about Issa, that we will see, and then we will take up this discussion on this Issa and Macharya in the scriptures. How these scriptures have discussed Icha and Matsarya, we will see. So, yeah, in Islam and in these monotheistic religions, Islam and Christianity, they say if you are jealous of somebody, if you are envious of somebody, then you are not loving your father or your God. Father in the sense I'm using in the Christianity terms. So like the God you are not loving, because the God's creation is always fair. So why you are jealous of someone? Why you are envious of someone? He is unworthy to have that possession. He is unworthy to have that appreciation. He is unworthy to have that quality. That kind of feeling you may have, and because of that you may start hating him or start becoming jealous of him. That means you are again judging the very creation, the very creator, the intentions of the creator, the intelligence of the creator. That's what the monotheistic religions they define jealousy, and they encourage their followers to keep away from jealousy. If you are jealous of someone, if you are envious of someone, then you are judging the very authority of the God, Allah or the God. You are judging, or you are like doubting, suspecting the very ability of the God, the very power of the God, or the very fairness or the honesty of the God. If somebody is superior to me, and God will not make anybody superior to you unless he is really superior than you. That means you are actually hating the God also. If you are jealous of someone, you are disrespecting the God, you are hating the God. Because of that reason, you should not be jealous. In that version, in that way, all these monotheistic religions, they encourage their followers to become non-jealous. There is some sense in it, of course, there is no doubt, there is some sense in it. And of course, the same version we can see in so many other religions also. And what about the psychologists and philosophers? They think about jealousy and enviousness. Of course, in psychology, they say jealousy and enviousness is deep rooted. They also agree, and it's unseenness. It can't be seen several many times, and how it affects the mind, and in turn how it affects the body. That also many researchers, they're working on this. This very nature of the human beings, this jealousy, how jealousy has impact on the physical health. Also, a lot of psychologists are working on it, and they could relate the jealous feelings, the jealous thoughts, the envious thoughts are more negative, more powerful in a negative sense, that they can affect your health more than any other mental negativities, mental defilements, mental unwholesomeness. Like maybe anger, it comes and goes, and its impact may be relatively less when compared to the jealousy. It's like boiling inside, and it has greater impact on your health, and it has greater oppressiveness on your internal systems, on your endocrine system, and all other so many other systems. It has greater impactfulness, that kind of power, that kind of higher negative power. These qualities will carry this jealousy or enviousness. That is very much proved. That is very much discovered, found out by the psychologists, the psychoscientists, psychotherapists, and people who are working on to prove the relation between body and mind. It's like a lot of work is going on. So in that way, of course, we can discuss so much about the other religions and other psychologists, scientists about these negative qualities. But maybe we can spend more time on this Buddha's version of this jealousy and enviousness, and also this possessiveness. Maybe we can spend more time on this. So once one incident happened during the lifetime of Buddha. One Sakka, the king of gods, the 33 gods, he visited Buddha. After approaching Buddha, he bowed down and he showed his respect to Buddha. And then he asked Buddha, like, everybody wants happiness, everybody wants peace, everybody wants, like, say, harmonious relation with other people. But still the world is suffering. All the humans, all the divine beings also are suffering with lot of, say, disharmony, with lot of restlessness, without peace also, especially in the human world. Why it is so? But all humans, they expect it, they want it, but they're not in a position to achieve it. What is the prime reason? As a community, as a society, as a nation, or as a world, as a human world, what is the main reason for this kind of, say, what they are expecting and what they are not getting? By this gap in expecting something and getting something, there is a big gap. Why this? In that way, this Sakka, he asks Buddha, and Buddha says it is because of these core-rooted defilements called the Issa and Acharya, unseen, which can't be handled so easily, like your hatefulness with loving kindness, with compassion, you can handle. Many people, they're doing it. But these things, this jealousy and possessiveness, it is so deep-rooted, and it requires complete comprehension. There is a lot of ability to fix them, but a lot of ability to remove them from the mind. Because of that reason, the whole human world is suffering. The human world is fighting, clashing with one another. It's because of this core-rooted defilements, Issa and Acharya, jealousy and possessiveness. In that way, Buddha answers to this Sakka's question. Once there was one UN, United Nations, they asked different spiritual masters to give some solutions to the problems in the world, like, say, to fix the wars, world wars, or any kind of war. Then they asked one of our masters in Myanmar, and again the master gave the same thing. Like one has to work on the individual's minds, the meditation and all these things one has to promote. And he also very authoritatively in the UN, he says that Issa and Macharya, this jealousy and possessiveness, until the nations, not just the individuals, societies and the nations, if they're stuck with this possessiveness and jealousy, then they fight. Like in Ukraine now, everybody is possessive of their land, their people, their society, their culture, their associations. That possessiveness is there. And at the same time, once you have this possessiveness, then definitely you develop some kind of enviousness and jealousy of others' possessions, others' abilities. Then the grudgefulness comes. Then the wars, conflicts will start. So the reason for any kind of conflict in the world, whether it is at the individual level or at the society level or at the nations level, international level, it's all because of this Issa and Macharya, because of jealousy and possessiveness only. You have to hold on to a few things. You don't want to share it to others. You don't want to even expose it to others also. The possessions or even the intellectual qualities. If you are holding on to yourself, if you don't want to share it with others, it is called possessiveness. It is called Matsarya or Macharya. Stinginess, possessiveness, selfishness. All these things are very much they closely related to this possessiveness, Matsarya. So they go actually, they go like they supplement each other. Actually, they go together. This Issa and Macharya. If you have this possessiveness, definitely you will definitely develop this Irsha also. If you don't want to share what you are having, then you definitely become jealous of others who are having something which is better than yours or which is superior to yours, which you are not having. In that way, always we discuss this possessiveness together, we discuss because they go hand in hand. Many times we are not in a position to note whether this quality is there in the mind or not. Because of this reason only, like this meditation of Chittanupasana, being aware of what's going on in the mind, what feelings are going on, what emotions are going on, what thoughts are going on. That awareness of the very mind itself, very thought processes of the mind, the emotions of the mind, that is very, very beautiful meditation again, to work on this jealousy and possessiveness. Because it has this wide range, starting from an individual, between two people, two friends, two family members. If it is not controlled, not understood, not fixed, this jealousy and possessiveness, it will lead to quarrels, it will lead to conflicts, it will lead to lot of disharmony between two very close individuals also. And it may, like say in the communities, in the societies, the conflict between the communities, societies, nations, and the international level. The core reason is these two defilements only. The two communities are obsessed with these qualities. Their leaders also will definitely absorb these qualities from their subjects, from their people, and they also get puffed up with these qualities, and they develop again this Issa and Macharya, this possessiveness and jealousy, and they fight. They take decisions based on these defilements, like in Ukraine war, and they fight. So in that way, whether it is the conflicts at the international level or conflicts at the individual level, the core reason is this jealousy and possessiveness only. It will puff up your egos. It will strengthen the egos. Conversely, of course, because of ego, these two things, jealousy and possessiveness, they increase, they multiply. But the other thing, the converse, the other say The opposite is also true. Like if you are puffed up with jealousy and possessiveness, then automatically you will develop strong, rigid egos. So they say there is one word called mana, conceit. So if you have conceit, then automatically this isan, macharya, it will become stronger and stronger. And why this mana or this conceit, why this minus and very unseen mana, unseen conceit, unseen inus and minus? How it comes, how it generates, how it develops in the mind? Because if you are, say, addicted to this habit pattern of the mind, vast majority of the humans, they have this, like comparing, especially nowadays. They can't mind their own business. They always want to compare with others, even the countries, even the communities, even at the individual level, always comparison. The very meaning of the word mana is very beautiful. Mana has two meanings. Like in the words like havamana, tapamana, like measuring the temperature, measuring the, like say, vayomana, age. Mana means measuring. At the same time, mana means like inus and minus. So it has these two meanings. And these two are very much related. When you start measuring, then you start developing this inus and minus. So this why this the conceit or this inus and minus will become stronger in us. It is because of our habit pattern to simply measure with others. Whether I am, say, intelligent or the other person is intelligent. Whether I am, say, more appreciated by others or that person is appreciated by others. Whether I am more wealthy or they are more wealthy. That way, simply comparing. That will build up all this inus and minus mana. That is the main reason for building up of this jealousy and possessiveness also. So like the core reason is like what you have understood. The core reason is your ignorance or your say unawareness of, by default, the habit pattern of the mind is to measure, and you are unaware of it, and because of that you keep on measuring, keep on comparing, keep on measuring and comparing. That's why competing. Because of this nature of the mind, jealousy and possessiveness, they become stronger and stronger. Unknowingly they become stronger and stronger. Because of that reason, so when I was in Myanmar, one of my teachers, he was telling about like say superiority complex is not good. It is like showing off your ego and developing your ego are very bad. And inferiority complex, like say showing like I'm nothing, something like showing up, but deep inside it is there, but pretending that I'm nothing. And also if it accumulates, because of that you become little say losing your confidence levels and all, because of that inferiority. That is also bad. That is also ego. That is also inus and minus. Because of your inus and minus only you develop inferiority complex also. And of course, because of inus and minus only you develop superiority complex also. That is very much comprehended by anyone. Inferiority complex is also because of ego. Again, many people can comprehend this. And again, he started explaining. Again, he continued that even the equality complex, I and he, I and she, we are equal. In that way, if you have some kind of notion that even this equality also, we are equal also, that is also ego, because there is also measurement. So equality complex, superiority complex, inferiority complex, all these complexes, they are rooted in measuring. Once you are into this trap of measuring, by default, of course, the mind is into this trap. And intelligently, wisely, if you can't come out of this measuring business, this comparing business, this comparing habit pattern of the mind, then you can't come out of this jealousy and possessiveness. Because this mana and because of this comparing, because of that only you develop this isan, macharya, possessiveness and jealousy or enviousness. Even this equality complex is like, we are saying that we are equal means like you're measuring. If you come out of this measuring thing, then you mind your own business. Each individual is unique. I have my own set of karma because of so many things I have done, and as a result of it, and now what I am, it is completely opposite of, or it may be completely different from mine with regard to my father, my brother, my sister, my friend, my partner, my business partner, whoever it is. Each individual is unique. They are functioning in this world according to their karma, their habit patterns, their thinkings, their accumulated samskaras. So I'll just leave it to them. I just mind my own business. And of course, if there is some need out of compassion, out of loving kindness, I'll just look into others. If that kind of wise approach is not there towards others, it is always like a comparing approach. Equal, superior, inferior. You can't come out of this deep-rooted defilements, jealousy and possessiveness. And it's because of here the core point is what? Stop this nonsense of comparing. I am what I am. In the sense, it's not like an egoistic way. I am the result of my own thinking, my own emotions, my own karma, my own actions. Let me fix my actions, my thinking, whether it is mental actions or verbal actions or physical actions. Let me work on these things, and that's what is my duty in this life. And my interaction with others, it depends on like my loving kindness, my compassion, my gratitude, my respect with different kinds of people. Based on that, I function with the world, function with the people. If that approach you have, then you are safe from this jealousy and possessiveness. Yeah, because you are safe from comparing. You are free from comparing. If you have this kind of approach of let me mind my own business, it's not like selfishness. Please understand. Many people understand some of these spiritual things as selfishness. No. It is wisdom. It is a way of living. It is the art of living. As I was telling you, each individual is unique. You don't know actually his abilities, his weaknesses, and what is the point in comparing? And there's so much to work on your own mind, your own defilements, your own actions. Simply wasting time on comparing with others is absolute foolishness. So in that way, the core reason for this either to have and not to share with others, this possessiveness, or others are having, I don't have, because of that I'm unhappy, I'm upset, I'm grudgeful to other persons. That is that kind of jealous and envious thoughts. The core is like the person who is more habituated to compare, then he is definitely will have more of jealous and possessive feelings, defilements. The person is less comparing with others. One, he's minding his own business, he's busy in his own say life goals and life objectives. Such a person will be less jealous, he will be less possessive, he will be ready to possess, or he will be ready to share also whatever possessions he has, because his interests, his priorities in the life are absolutely different, not just comparing and not just promoting his ego or inflating his ego. That's not his business. His business is, or his intentions or his priorities will be to have like say his goals or his objectives, his aims in the life. He's spending all his time and resources and energy on those things. In the name of in the name of love, people are so jealous. In the name of respect, people are so jealous. In the name of friendship, people are so jealous. Many times, if you have not properly understood friendship, if you have not properly understood love, then you start developing possessiveness. And if third person interferes, then you develop jealousy, you develop enviousness. In the name of the so-called beautiful feelings like love and friendship also, there are great possibilities, higher possibilities of developing jealousy, developing possessiveness. That is a danger. So one thing is this kind of understanding. Comparison is the cause, the root cause of jealousy and possessiveness. It will free you to a great extent from this habit pattern of the mind that is comparing, and thereby to come out of jealousy and possessiveness. And the second thing is chittanupasana, objectively observing the mind itself, like what's going on in the mind, what kind of thought. Now the mind is full of hateful thoughts, full of jealous thoughts, full of possessive thoughts. But that very observation, that very awareness of the mind and the mind processes, that means the thoughts, emotions. If you are objectively aware, that is also a great and very, very beautiful approach to fix this jealousy and possessiveness. And the third approach is like handling the emotions with the emotions, positive, right, wholesome emotions, like mudita, appreciation. Instead of becoming jealous of somebody who is having it, that you become appreciative of what he is having. Because of his good karma, he is getting what he is getting. Let me work on my karma also, so that I will also get if I really want. Otherwise, I will work on other things which I really want. Why should I always compare and always compete with the other person? There's no need. Each individual, as I was telling you, is unique. Let me learn to appreciate one's achievements, one's success, one's possessions. That very appreciativeness is a very, very powerful tool to come out of this competition and comparison, and thereby come out of this jealousy and possessiveness. It's again one step-by-step methodical training of the mind, this mudita, appreciativeness or appreciative joy. If somebody is successful and he's joyful, then you just open up yourself like a small child and accept his joy or her joy, and then develop this mudita thoughts or mudita feelings based on some intelligence, based on some joyfulness. He's joy, let me also be joyful. He's successful, let me see that success from a very, very wholesome perspective. It's because of his own good actions, good karma, that now he's got successful. And if I really want, let me work on my actions, let me work on my karma. A kind of intelligent approach towards other person who is successful, instead of simply emotionally competing and grudging and comparing and then end up in this jealousy. That is like very stupid, very foolish approach. I mean, that's how many of us, we develop jealousy, we develop enviousness. But once you bring in this mudita, cultivate this mudita, appreciativeness, appreciative joy, rejoicing in others' joy. These things, if we start cultivating, if we start developing as an antidote, as a counter to this comparing and competition, then again you can become free from jealousy and this possessiveness. Okay, so in that way, these 3-4 approaches, 3-4 means, methods to handle jealousy and possessiveness also, one can think of, one can work, one can practice. These are all these things come under right view only, because all these things are rooted in good begets good, bad begets bad, this law of karma. So everything will boil down to karma, and one will definitely work on his own karma, mending his own mind, mending his own actions. There he will end up. And that's what is actually required. That's what is the right way of living. That's what is right view. So in that way, this is the right view approach to come out of this jealousy and possessiveness, this selfishness, possessiveness, stinginess, and this the benefits of generosity, the benefits of offering dana, all these things if you learn, and if you keep practicing dana, and when you start rejoicing the very beauty of dana, the very happiness that you derive in dana and this generosity, generous actions, again a lot of your possessiveness will go away. some of these meritorious actions. Again, that is one more approach. Cultivating meritorious actions like generosity, dana, service. In service also, a lot of selfishness will go away. Then giving your time, giving your intellectual skills or abilities or many other things is there in service. And respecting, even people can't respect, they're so rigid, they're so egoistic that they don't feel like respecting the respectables. Or even respecting the respectables means respecting some beautiful qualities. If that also you don't do, then there are two dangers. One is your intelligence of, like say, coming out of ego, so that deriving the happiness of egolessness or happiness of reduced ego that you can't enjoy. Point number one. Point number two, you don't cultivate the respectful qualities if you don't surrender or if you don't respect those beautiful qualities. So the people who have imbibed great qualities like compassion, let us say Buddha or Jesus, if you don't bow down, then you are losing so many things. You are not imbibing those qualities, so that again the mind becomes too rigid, too egoistic. And when you are not bowing down, if you are not appreciating those qualities, then if you are not coming out of ego, then you are not experiencing that joy of egolessness or joy of surrendering the ego. There is a superior joy in surrendering the ego also, or coming out of ego, or reducing ego. That joy, if you are not experiencing, then you're losing something which is very beautiful. So in that way, this kind of qualities of, say, respecting the respectables, apachayana, vayaveccha, service, dana, generosity, shila. In shila also indirectly a lot of metta will be developed, karuna will be developed, mudita will be developed. If you keep on practicing, let us even 5 shilas, pancha shilas also. Knowingly or unknowingly, you develop a lot of mudita also, appreciativeness also. Because when you're appreciating a person who are in your metta practice, because in metta, it involves appreciation also. When you see something good in others and when you are trying to appreciate it, then only the metta also becomes stronger. So in that way, when you are practicing metta correctly, automatically mudita also will follow. And then automatically this comparison, competition also will reduce. And this jealousy and possessiveness also will reduce. In that way, practicing Shila also will help to a great extent to come out of this defilements. That way, all these meritorious actions that many of you have learned, Dana, Shila, Bhavana, meditation, of course, meditation, when we learn all meditations, when we practice this awareness, most of the awareness meditations, or any kind of meditations, definitely it will have an impact on minding one's own mind, minding one's own business. That means, like, stop comparing. That means your jealousy and possessiveness are reduced. Pattidana, Pattanumodana, being grateful to your ancestors and showing some concern to the ancestors in the form of Punyanumodana, Pattidana, Pattanumodana, rejoicing in others' punya. All these things, they reduce your grudgefulness, your revengefulness, your comparison, your competition. And in that way, they add up to your jealouslessness, non-possessiveness, non-jealousy, non-possessiveness. Automatically, they will start developing in your mind. So in that way, there are so many approaches. Those who are into those who are learning, going to learn, or practicing, you would have realized how these qualities, jealousy and possessiveness also, how they are taking backseat, how they are reducing when these or when of the different meditation practices that will fix the different defilements of the mind that you have learned in the different courses, level 1 to level 4, or in the residential courses, or in the bridge course, how it will help in fixing these things. That is very, very authoritative approach, not like one, like say, a separate approach with separate components of the mind. No, it's an integrated approach. And that's why it is an authoritative approach. So I encourage all of you to join the courses, which will commence from next month, October. First course, October 17th to some 8 days it is there. And again, second course in the November. And encourage other people. That is also very, very important. Encouraging other people. That is one greatest service that you can render to the world. The greatest gift that you can give to others. And in that way, see that you derive more benefits by making others to derive benefits through these courses or classes. That's what I feel. I don't know whether you appreciate it or not. Finding this as the best gift, and that's why I dedicated my life to this. And if you see some sense in it, at least some of your skillfulness, some of your intelligence, some of your time you spend on this, and derive the superior happiness. That's what is my suggestion. And left is of course, other things are left to your discrimination, your discretion. How much you have absorbed the importance of this. That always, of course, matters. There are so many other things to discuss about this jealousy and possessiveness. Issa and Acharya. These 4, 5 points, 5, 6 points you can keep in your mind. So starting from the individual conflicts to international conflicts, the core reason is this Issa and Acharya only. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is like they go together. Both this jealousy and possessiveness, they go together. When you're possessive of holding on to some possession or some person, then automatically you become envious. You develop enviousness, or this envy also, this jealous also. That's why always we study them, we put them together. This Issa and Acharya, this jealousy and possessiveness. The very definition of enviousness or envy is to, like say, grudging others for having it and thinking that you don't have it. By comparison only, this jealousy and possessiveness will build up in our mind. That is very, very important key takeaway that you keep in your mind. Comparison and leads to competition. These things only are the cause of jealousy and possessiveness. And this is what is called, this is of course leads to mana. Mana is also like comparing, measuring. So you can stop this nonsense of measuring through all these different approaches. There's so many other approaches in addition to our courses that I have mentioned. I think this much is enough, because there is no end for it. Like we can discuss so many other aspects of Issa and Acharya. I think today for this Dhamma talk, I think this much is enough. If you have some quick questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll conclude with one small chanting. If no questions, we'll conclude with one small chanting. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanghanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te sukhi bhaveyang nidduko ahang nicca ahang viya idacha me sukhi hontu majjata chatavedino mam higammante dhamme satta hontu sukhi sada pato parancharadjesu chakkavale sujantano. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sukhi hontu. Sadhu. May all of you be happy, healthy and peaceful. May also be peaceful.